Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today, oh my God, you do so many things. So you do like the circus thing, you do the hula hoop thing, you do the fire thing, and you do, I never know how to say this properly, burlesque?
You nailed it. It's burlesque,
okay.
yes.
Scarlett Rose, thanks for coming to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
So which of those things came first?
The one that came first would be the hula hoops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that did come first. Well, I mean, in the circus realm, hula hoops came first, but dance itself, the foundation of all of it, really,
So like,
that came
did you
first.
grow up in like doing dancing? What type of dance were you doing?
I did a bunch of different things. Kind of a theme throughout my life was I would like to take on absolutely everything possible. If I see something that I think is interesting, I try to do it. So my parents had a lot to keep up with.
Right.
It started with jazz, tap, and ballet when I was really little. That didn't stick for so long. But then Irish dance came next for a little bit.
That's the one. Wait. Is it the one with the outfit and no, that's the Celtic one.
So there's, you're probably thinking a little bit of Highland dance. The ones with the more kilt-like things.
Yes.
Irish dance is the big poofy hair, the very beaded dress. It's like river dance. If you remember what that. Yeah, river dance.
Okay.
So I did that a little bit, and then into the end of my preteens, start of my teen years, I started to do Latin dance and ballroom dance as well.
Do you still do that?
I don't, but there's a lot of the foundations that I learned there that I carry on into the things that I do today.
Okay, so you did all this bunch of dance.
Yeah.
Like, when did the circus thing start then?
The circus thing actually started in university in a very hilarious way. I went out with a couple of friends from university. I went to SMU here in Halifax, and we went to a show that was in the basement of the Argyle. If you know, you know. If you were around here at that point, it's gone now.
Right.
But I just very randomly struck up a conversation with the fellow who was throwing the party, and he was looking for someone to work door. He was having a hard time kind of keeping that position staffed, I guess.
Yeah.
And when I did that and started hanging around there more, he eventually hired some circus artists and struck up a friendship with them. They heard about my dance background, specifically Taylor Zupiter of Interstellar Circus Arts. She's the one who taught me everything at the start, hula hoop wise. She was so gracious and so wonderful. And it really just took off from there.
So was that what she was doing and you decided, hey, can you teach me that? Or
Yeah, she was hula hooping at those shows. It had a very LED vibe down there. Everything glowed, and she had some really amazing light up hula hoops at the time, and I was absolutely taken by it.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, she taught me.
Okay, so like, what are some of the basics when you want to start the hula hoop?
So I'd say my biggest trick that I had to get past was not to try to hula hoop around your waist. I was actually so bad at that when I was a kid. I used to hate it when they'd take the hula hoops out in gym class because I would just stand there and and that's not what you do.
Okay.
You get a bigger, heavier hula hoop, practice with stuff around your hand, and then when you do stuff on body, don't make a circle with your body. No, if you're doing this, you're moving with the hula hoop and it's going to fall down. It's a lot of just back and forth. It's really, it's not what you think it is.
Right. Okay, it makes sense.
It messes with your head.
It
takes a while to get there.
You want to do the round, but you have to, and then it kind of like goes around you.
The apparatus is round. You are not.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, you did the thing, you're like, I'm great now. Like, did you, maybe that's not what you said, but what did you decide to move on to and why?
So from hula hooping, I really kind of ended up moving on to other apparatuses in the flow genre. So flow in the kind of circus art sphere is anything that you can just kind of move from trick to trick to really gracefully and have some fun. So there's a lot of different apparatuses for that. And I went into fans next. I messed around a little bit with staff. I'm not very good at it. There's a lot of people who are much better at it in town than I am. A little bit of poi, also not my thing.
What is that?
Poi is those balls on the end of the string that you see people spinning around.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and see, I just did that. Anyone who does poi is going to be like, no, girl.
That's not what you do.
So I didn't really stick with that either, but really it was just hula hoops and fans. And I've got a big set of wings as well, and you just dance with those wings, and it's really pretty. It's just fun. It makes you feel pretty.
So like all these kind of fall under the flow umbrella?
Yes.
And then when did you get out of flow? Or what did you decide to do when you decided, no, I want something else?
I kind of leaned into burlesque a little bit more at that point.
What was the origin story for your burlesque?
Well, I was working at a circus studio a long while ago. It's no longer around, Campfire Studios. It was over on Almond Street.
Love it.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. Yeah.
I want to add an anecdote, but that's fine.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, there was a burlesque show that was being put on there by one of my friends who goes by the stage name of something else. And she wanted to get a lot more of us involved in that show. And I wouldn't say I was talked into it, but I was really encouraged into it since I had the dance background and a lot of the other artists that practice at that studio were getting involved. So I was terrified. I actually just recently posted my first burlesque picture versus ones recently.
I saw that.
I had to take my hula hoop with me. I had a comfort hoop for the whole show.
Oh, wow.
So I was very uncomfortable with it. I think a lot of young women can relate to feeling very uncomfortable in their bodies and very uncomfortable being a sexual being in any way, and being seen as that on stage for me was a huge shock and deeply uncomfortable. But after the first show, I don't know, something clicked. I
love it.
loved it, and I was ready to ditch the hoop immediately. It's like, that was fun, thanks so much, moving on. Yeah.
And so do you have to, like, as a burlesque artist, you have to have a character, like do you have to have a character as a specific character, or do you have to develop a new one for each show? Do you know what, like?
Yeah, I'm not sure what others would say to this. I think there's probably some people who do switch it up a lot, but the acts are all different. The character of Scarlett is the same throughout.
Oh, okay. It's you, but wearing something else or dressing in some different way, but it's all Scarlett Rose all through.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely it is. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name?
Well, my middle name is Rose, and
well,
I
that
was
was easy.
using my government name as a performing artist for a very long time. And I was just like, I should probably change this up because a lot of people had their own burlesque name. So I should pick something. And I wanted to stick with Rose. I tried a bunch of things and they all just kind of sounded really hokey. They were goofy. And then,
Do you remember any of the goofy ones?
oh, I don't even remember. I just had a whole list and I was reading them off to my friends and the faces were like,
no.
yeah. And then someone pointed out like that you could play with the rose itself as the anchoring factor of the name. I don't remember who it was. I was like, what could you say about the rose? It's velvety, it's deep red, it's sensual. I was like, well, it is scarlet in color, and I love that name. And it was just a lot of kind of throwing things back and forth, and eventually it just stuck. So instead of a red rose, it's a scarlet rose.
So you have Scarlett Rose, you have this character. Like, what's the process of coming up with your performances? Does it start with a song? Does it start with a dance?
So the burlesque community in Halifax does a lot of themed shows. So a lot of that act creation process is already taken care of there, where you kind of have to fit something within a theme. And then it's just really picking a lot of things that I like. But for shows that have no theme, sometimes it does start with a song. Sometimes it starts with a costume that I get in my head.
Okay.
I'd always been really interested in fashion when I was younger.
You make your outfits?
I do.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I do. I make a lot of my outfits. Of course, I buy bases for a lot of things. Like the outfit that I'm wearing today, the base was a bathing suit. I added all the mesh pieces and the gems and the little frills on the side, and I made this thing out of a bunch of feather boas. And
did you sew, or
I
did
do.
you pick up that for burlesque? Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, I
did you-
already sewed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not well by any means. So it has gotten a lot better over the years. My first couple of costumes, I'll look back on them now and I'm just like, oh my
Did you
gosh.
ever like make something and then you're like, please don't break before the end of the show?
Oh yeah, and some of them have broken.
No!
Yeah, oh yeah, they absolutely have. There's some of the first costume pieces that I made, I got off stage, I was like, well, that's a one and done. It looked okay until the end, but that clasp is never going back the way it was.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have a theme. Like when they give you the theme, do they also give you the song you're going to dance to? Or?
No. No, you pick the song and you pick the general concept of how you're going to be displaying that theme. So, as an example, I recently did a show in Moncton with Talent NB, and that was really fun. And the idea was toys that you would find in the giveaway bin, toys that 90s kids grew up with. And I thought it would be hilarious to demonstrate the Easy Bake Oven because that thing is a mess. The
Well-
Easy Bake Oven is a mess.
Did it actually work? Or
No,
Okay,
no.
okay,
So
okay.
the Easy Bake Oven was a toy that was actually an oven for children, which I don't know. I burnt my hand on that so many times. Oh yeah,
No.
a little metal pan that you push right through it. Not good. Fiery hand trap. So of course, of course, it's funny in general
Right.
that we were even really kind of allowed to have that. So the act had to be about a toy. I picked the Easy Bake Oven, and then I decided I wouldn't be the oven. I would be a Barbie doll interacting with the Easy Bake Oven, falling in and getting baked into my own cupcake. So
Okay,
it starts with a theme and then it snowballs.
Right.
Yeah.
What song did you pick to do this performance?
It's Too Darn Hot from the musical Kiss Me Kate.
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah, because the Easy Bake Oven was too darn hot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much, like how far ahead do you plan for a show? So, you know, like there's this show coming, you have the theme, you have the song, so like how much work goes between when you know, okay, this is happening till the actual day of the performance?
It depends on what I already have that fits within the theme.
Oh,
Yes.
So sometimes you already have a cheat code. It's like, oh, this goes, like, I have this outfit. I don't have to make something from zero.
Exactly. I have a show coming up, the Anime Cabaret.
Right, I saw that on your Instagram. You're like, people should guess what the character you're going to do was.
Yes, and I'm not going to tell it on this podcast. You're going to have to come to the show to see.
Right.
But I already have a base costume in the right color. I already have a lot of other pieces that can come in. I just have to make one stage set piece. So I could start that probably, I mean, I'd love to say 2 weeks out, but unfortunately, it's probably going to be a week out, let's be honest. It's always a mad dash to the finish. So something like that, I can take a little bit less time focusing on the piece creation, and then I can just focus on the choreography and the general plan for the act. But something like the Atlantic Burlesque Festival that I just did, I made a new set piece, I made a new costume. That was months in the making.
Right. So, like, and then the song, do you know the song you're going to do for the thing, for the show coming up?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I picked those out pretty early.
Easy. Do you have just like a bunch of songs that you listen to and be like, oh, this would be good for this, and then you can, or is it like when you have the character, that's when the song comes?
It's a mixture of both. A lot of the time I do kind of have an idea of what song that I would pick to begin with. I was very lucky to grow up in a super musical family where there was always music on. So my repertoire for what to choose from is probably a lot larger than it could be. But sometimes I do just Google songs that make you feel this way. I think I've done that like twice, where it's just like, okay, the act is silly, so I'm like, all right, upbeat, silly 50s musical songs, and it's just like,
Okay.
these could work. There's a lot of just kind of throwing the pasta at the wall to see if it's done. Like, let's see if it sticks.
When you play this song, do you kind of like see the dance right away, or you just start creating it?
Yeah, I mean, there's moments in a song where you can kind of picture moves already, where the song ebbs and flows. You're like, oh, this would be a good time to engage with the audience. This would be a good time to do something really big, a big reveal. It just kind of naturally comes in that way, but then picking the moves can get a little bit more tedious. You get an idea of the big reveal. Okay, which one of my big reveals should I do here?
So the act ends when the song ends, or
Yes.
okay, or do you? Because I was gonna ask, or do you ever like have it's an act that ends before the song, or it's like you know these songs, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. You have to make your thing last for that time.
You do. You should. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And you're just kind of, okay, I'm out of moves. And you just kind of shimmy. But
is it always like solo performances, or do you have like other people you perform with? Like,
So for burlesque, I'm doing it just myself. There's no one else really involved. There's a few troupes around here that I'll perform with here and there, but I'm just kind of on my own there. Circus-wise, usually there's more than just me with my hoops or me with my fans involved in a show like that. I perform a lot with Serpentine Studios, or Serpentine Entertainment, I should say, their show branch, and with Luminosity Circus as well. Those are some groups here that do some really good work, and it's just pairing a bunch of different acts together to put on a whole show, and that's really exciting.
Like, okay, this person can do this thing, and then we are building something over 3 hours or whatever, and these are the people I need to do. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
the fire thing, what's the story there?
Well, that came obviously after learning how to do the apparatuses that I already have, like the hoops, the fans, without fire on them. And naturally, when you are someone like me that gets bored doing the same thing for a very long time, you think, how can I amp this up?
Yeah.
And one very easy way to amp up Circus is to then light the stuff that you're using on fire. So that happened. There's a lot of safety training that goes involved in that, though. It's not just light stuff on fire in your backyard. Don't do that. Not only will your landlord not like you, you could hurt yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, what is there? Is there a certain amount of hours you have to do the training for, and then they're like, "Oh, you're certified to go do your thing," or is it something that you have to constantly keep doing?
It's something that I would recommend people constantly keep doing, because there's always updated advice.
Yes.
When I first started, 8 years ago now with fire, I took a fire safety course, and I recently took one about 6 months ago, and some of the information was different, and just better practices as we go. There really isn't a regulatory system in place in Canada for fire performance. It's kind of
Free for all.
a little bit free for all. So it's good to just kind of learn from the people who are doing the things, and keep up to date on different safety things. But there's no specific amount of hours. You just should know your apparatus, and if you're still dropping it all the time, maybe don't.
Yeah.
And always practice with other people, preferably people who are better than you. That's how I like to do it.
No, I mean that one way to know you're doing it well is that you get to go away and come back to do it again, because you like fire doesn't play around.
No, if I ever get invited back somewhere, I'm like, I didn't scare you guys. That's so good.
Okay, and we practice like, so you have all these apparatuses and like the dance also involved, and the sewing and all that stuff. What do you find you spend the most time on in all these things you do?
Probably the costume making.
Oh my God, yes, to elaborate.
If anyone has ever tried to rhinestone an item before, first of all, congratulations, and I'm sorry. But it takes a very long time. It is just the one at a time, tedious picking and gluing, picking and gluing.
Wait. Wait, is one at a time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for all this time, I thought, you kind of like get patterns and you just slap it on.
No. My big red costume that I made last year.
Each of the red things is one at a time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And this isn't very many. My whole red costume, that the whole corset is covered in rhinestones. I questioned my life decisions
How
about
long did that
1,000
take
times.
to do it?
Months. And I have a day job too. I was bringing it to work on lunch.
No! But it looks great once it's done, though.
Yes, it's beautiful when it's done.
So it's kind of worth it. It's one of those things where it sucks to do, but once it's done, it's like, okay, fine, I get why I did it.
Yeah, it's a really irrational pastime where while you're doing it, you're like, I'm never going to do this again. And then you finish a piece and you get a new idea. And, and you order the new bag of rhinestones and you're like, oh, fine.
So walk me through it. It's like each one. So there's like, I guess like a piece that kind of goes that you kind of like, how do you put it on?
The rhinestone itself, you get glue, which smells horrible, in this little tiny tube. You open a window and put a mask on so that you don't get cancer or something that's going to happen from it. And you put a little bit of glue down. You take your wax pen and you put rhinestones on one by one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And maybe you watch a movie. Maybe you call your friends.
Oh, man. So you must be really patient.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the only way you could, like, what? Okay. So what was your last show and what song did you perform to?
The last show, well, actually, the last show that I did, there was a series of shows involved. I just did the Future Forest Festival in
that's amazing.
New Brunswick. Yeah, that is a favorite of mine every year. And I did almost everything I can do there, except for fire. They usually bring in large troops for like the really big wow factor. And good on them, because the troop they got this year was absolutely incredible. And I did some hoop things, some go-go dance. I did some burlesque.
Dance?
Go-go dance is just dancing to the music that the DJ is playing up on stage in a costume, and kind of helping to hype up the environment.
How is that different from, what's the difference between that and burlesque?
Well, the big difference is that your clothes stay where you put them.
Okay, all right. Okay.
With burlesque, they go down there.
Okay.
They come off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did a lot of that, and I did burlesque as well. I did my cowgirl act for the Future Forest Burlesque show, to Lasso by Carter Faith. I didn't really think that I was going to end up being the big red shiny cowgirl. That I don't even really like country music that much, but that ended up being my most booked act. So here we are.
Wow.
To an extent, you don't really get to pick where you go. If people like what you've presented, then that's what you're getting booked for now. Yeah. I do love it though. And I did an ambient burlesque set as well on the final night, which is just using the whole stage while the DJ is playing and riffing off of them and having your fun. And that was so incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I something I get to, or I love to ask guests. It's a question a friend asked, and it kind of stuck. And the question is, what's something that happened before you were 17 that you feel plays a huge role in the person you are today?
I wouldn't say it's really just one thing. I was really trying to rack my brain on it. Was the one thing? But it's just, I think, how supportive my family has always been of me being an artist. As I mentioned earlier, I started dance when I was super, super young. Obviously, I didn't go put myself there. I was 4. So my parents, who are both artists in their own right, have always been so supportive of me trying different things. They never told me to, shut up and wind down, even though I absolutely should have. Putting on shows at every family gathering for all the parents who are like, yay. Oh, the 7-year-old's doing it again. So that was really so formative to who I am today, is that I was just kind of allowed to explode creatively, and anything that I wanted to try, as long as it was safe and reasonable. My parents were like, absolutely, let's put her in dance, let's put her in theater, let's put her in singing lessons, let's let her play in the school band, all the things.
Nice.
And it was really amazing.
Okay, well, that definitely plays a huge role, because when you have that type of support, I mean, come on.
Totally.
Okay, you brought some magic into the studio today.
I did.
And I'm going to let you go with magic.
Oh.
Okay, so here you go. You're going to
Okay.
write a number between 1 and 60.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of
Don't
numbers.
show me. Point it to the camera, and I will try to use my magic cards to tell you what your number is. Hopefully, I don't mess it up.
We'll see. Should I show the camera now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, in these cards, your number can be 1 at least, but it might be more than 1.
Okay.
So I need you to walk me through it. Is your number here?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Whenever it's in the first one, it's difficult. Okay. Is it here?
Yes.
Yeah, an odd one. Okay, here?
Yes.
No! Okay. Okay.
Yes.
What number did you pick?
It's on that one too.
No! Here too?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, wow. I've never had 5 cards before, actually.
Sorry.
Okay. Ooh, wow. 47.
It is.
Okay. I've never had that number before. Okay, really, Scarlett Rose, thank you so much for coming to the
Thank
studio
you.
today. I want to clear out so you can do some of your hula hoops.
Sure, yeah.
I'm so grateful you came today. Oh.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ain't that